Program at Teacher. Program takes you back in the days to your secondary school days, those good old days, those carefree and fun days. I'm your regular hostess, Nana Shehu. I'm an ex-Jaw. I attended Air Force Girls Military School. My service number is 88 stroke 0182. I've got two other co-hosts with me on the program today. I'm going to start with the gentleman co-host.
Hello, my name is Kayode Atobatele. I am an ex-junior airman of the Air Force Military School in Jos, Nigeria. And my Nigerian Air Force number is AFMS 82-248. Passed out from AFMS in the year 1987, 35 years ago. Good to be on the show today.
Yeah, thank you. Rub it in. That's my favorite. Rub it in. Okay, Senior B.
Hello, my name is Abisola Olabode. I'm also an extra of the Air Force Girls Military School in Jos. I passed out from the school in 1992. My NAF number is 87-0060. Nice to be here again.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and thank you for being here. So today I'm going to throw out some questions to you too. Now, the whole idea is for us to relive our secondary school days. And for those people outside listening or watching in and don't have an idea of what happens, because I get those questions that what happens in a military school? Are you not just a secondary school? Are you not just normal? So I want the question I'm going to throw out to you, I believe, will shed more light on what actually transpired in the military school as against every other secondary school. But before I start shooting out those questions to you for you to relive your experiences there, I want to ask you this first question because there's been, controversies, talks, and all of that. So I want you to give me an answer from your own perspective because you've been down the road, you went through the school and all of that. Do you think it was a good idea in the first place to have a military secondary school in Nigeria? Let's start with the lady.
Oh, absolutely. In my own opinion, yes. And I'll speak from the perspective of a girls' military school. The Air Force Girls Military School was the first in Africa. I'm not sure there's any till date. And the whole idea was to set up a school where they could groom girls along the line of military training, whilst also trying to give them optimum education, whilst bringing them up along the line of education and military training. And it was an idea that was conceived by the ex chief of staff, and he sold it to one of the senior officers who also happens to be a father to one of an ex-Jaw, and he bought into the idea.
Sorry, 1 minute. What's an ex-Jaw? So for people that don't know out there.
Oh, okay. So Jaw means is an abbreviation for junior air woman.
Okay.
So that's what it means. And so I think it was a fantastic idea. It was very successful and is still very successful. Over the years, they've been able to breed thousands of girls who have distinguished themselves both in the corporate environment and also some for those who have toed the line of the military as well. They have excelled in their various professions, exhibiting a lot of discipline and a lot of they've made the Air Force proud over the years, and they still do on a day-to-day basis. So I think it was a fantastic idea, and it's been overall a very good idea.
Okay. Thank you very much. Oga Kayode, what do you think?
Well, I think one of the best things that has happened in Nigeria, so a lot of times we don't talk enough about great things that happen in Nigeria, great ideas that basically became something. One of those actually is the Air Force Military School, both the one for the boys and the ones for the girls. Now, it's only been around for 42 years now, right? But then when you start to look at the products of these schools, right, and you go into any area of Nigeria, when you look towards the top, you will find an ex-junior airman or an ex-junior airwoman who is leading. So somehow, whether by design or by accident, the Air Force successfully brought together the most brilliant minds they could find actually in Nigeria and groomed them together and then released them to the world. And so when these people scattered, so when I'm presently in the US, right? But when I look all the way to CFOs in major corporations in the US, you will find some ex-jam. When you look in the medical field, you find professors of medicine that are ex-jam. And I'm only talking, and then of course, when you look in the Nigerian military, in almost every set, right, somehow, it's almost like in almost every set, about 10% get into the military, and they do so well and excel so well that they end up being generals. So the first couple sets right now, almost all of them have at least 10 generals, 7 generals in Air Force, Army, and Navy. So, and then even those who decided to become other ranks excel to get to the master warrant officer. So wherever an ex-jam finds himself, and I'll say by extension, but I won't speak for the ladies because you can speak for yourself. But from what I have observed, wherever we find ourselves, the training and how we're built makes us strive to excel. It's part of our DNA. We know nothing else to do. We do not know how to fail. I wish that there will be a military school in every state in Nigeria, producing more people like the caliber of people that I grew up with. I wish that Nigeria will actually invest a lot more in creating such institutions, because they are period awesome.
Yeah, but just to add to what you said, I think presently the Nigerian Army and the Nigerian Navy are opening more military schools, to the best of my knowledge. And I think one of them or both of them is opening one for girls.
It is a good thing as far as that. And the only reason why I would say that they are now going back to say we need to open more like that is they've seen the product. Now, the privilege is that we are the first that you will find. So they are taking data points from us and they are seeing. Now, I mean, go into any of the services, amongst the people who are serving, they refer to the ex-junior airmen generals as gentlemen generals.
Wow.
That's when they are seated together, there's a certain level of respect for the fact that somebody who is their colleague, contemporary, is an ex-junior airman.
Okay. So this is not part of the question. I just, out of curiosity, did many of your mates go into the service?
What I found out is, I don't know if it's by accident or statistics is always the same, right? It's usually about 10% of the set get in to the military and end up serving.
That's for the boys.
For the boys. So when I look at the first, when I look at the first 5, 6, 7 sets, you will find out that on average, there are about 10% of the set will actually end up serving. You have sometimes less, sometimes more, but on the average, it's about 10%.
At least 10%.
At least 10%.
Senior B, is it the same thing from the girls' side?
Okay, so back in the day, girls who passed out from Air Force Girls Military School didn't have access to the NDA.
And because some people don't know the meaning of NDA.
So that's the Nigeria Defense Academy. I'm sorry, when I speak, I just assume that everyone, understands. So that's the Nigeria Defense Academy. But the girls didn't have access to that. It was only something enjoyed by the boys, those who attended Air Force military school, and I
So
think
that
NMS as
contributed
well.
to the volume that went into
To the
the
volume, exactly. But that's not to say we don't have a couple of them now in the Air Force. For example, I have
classmate.
a former classmate, myself, who is now a redneck. So she's in the Air Forces and she's doing very well.
Is
So
excelling.
we're
You mean
really hoping that,
you
and
mean
she's the first female officer in the Nigerian Air Force to have, I think, 3 daggers or something. She has 3 daggers right now,
Mhm.
and she's excelling really well. I think you also have one in your set as well, Nana,
Yes,
who is
yes, I
also
do.
doing very
Is
well in
excelling
the Air
too.
Force.
Yes.
So I
Mhm.
think now they have access to the NDA and they can do like direct
Yeah,
I can't
we
remember
have
what it is
yeah,
called.
you're right. We have the junior sets who went to NDA and each of them excelled. They're still
Mhm.
excelling. 2 years ago there was the national parade in Nigeria and an ex-jaw. She's a Nigerian Navy. She
Commanded
was
that
this,
parade.
yes, she was no, she was a
Yes.
sub guard commander. An
Oh,
ex-jam
okay.
was the commander. It's in the
Commander,
army.
yes.
She was the
Yes.
sub guard. She's in the Navy. So yes, we're excelling everywhere we go. Thank you for that. We're going to take a quick musical break and we'll be right back. Remember, you're watching the program at Tijo. The program takes you back in the days to the good old days of secondary school in Nigeria. And we'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back to Atijo. The program takes you back in the days, good old days in secondary school where we had so much fun. So we're still with on the matter of the military schools, Air Force military schools in Nigeria. And we're all ex-students of that school, ex-JAM, ex-JOB. JAM
Mhm.
means junior airman. That's someone who attended or who is a student of the military school, AFMS, Air Force Military School. And if you attended the Air Force Girls Military School, you're a JAW, junior airwoman. So when you're ex, you're ex. So we're ex-JAM and ex-JAW. So quickly, before we went on that musical break where we had Senior B tell us about, the girls not being allowed to go into NDA and all of that. That's what limited the numbers compared to the boys who ended up being in the Nigerian Armed Forces. So, Oga Kaide, can you quickly tell us what the NDA was all about? What was it about going to NDA
yeah,
after leaving the military school?
sure. So the Nigerian Defense Academy is the premier institution that trains officers that serve in the Nigerian Armed Forces, all
Okay.
the arms, the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Navy, and the Nigerian Army.
Okay.
So for a long time, actually all the way till about the 90s, or when was Jonathan in government, around that time. So all from time immemorial till around that time when he, as the president, gave an order, there were no Nigerian Defense Academy trained only men, boys, men to become officers, regular combatant officers. Now, there were other ways in which people could join, but they were not the regular combatant roles.
Okay.
So
Other
for the
ways people could
regular
join
combat,
the armed
yeah,
forces as officers.
yes, there were other ways. For example, if they wanted to recruit doctors, they will recruit doctors, but they were not regular combatants. If they wanted to recruit engineers, they were not regular combatants. Nigerian Defense Academy was the only place that was training the regular combatant officers. So the regular combatant roles were mostly trained for there. And so the ladies did not have that privilege for a while. The beauty of it actually is that at a point in time, the commander-in-chief gave an order that basically they should start taking women. And so from then on till date, now you have more women who, if you're interested, you can actually go in there and you actually are allowed to serve in regular combatant roles now. So they get the same training, the same everything. And now it also means that there's basically equity in terms of you are judged by your ability to deliver, period. No longer by
Not
your
gender.
gender. Not
Gender.
Okay.
yeah. So
Mhm.
the expectation now is that we will see more of the girls in the military
Oh yes, we'll be hearing about them. They
rising to the
always
top.
excel in their sets at the
Yes.
NDA.
Yeah.
So I'm not much about that.
That is
But we
true.
know they are outstanding pilots and
Yes,
all of
that
that.
is very correct. At least the reports that we see, yes, that is true. Again, like I said, and that's the beauty of the military school, that somehow, whether by accident or by design, they managed to bring together very brilliant minds and built them into one solid unit that
Okay.
basically watches out. So the ones in the military are watching out for us. We are also watching out for them. Basically, where we are, I usually say we are the biggest investment that the government of Nigeria has ever made in training secondary school students.
Okay.
There is no other school that the government spends as much as they spend on training a single person, because of the free education, the free uniforms, the free training, the free feeding, and even sometimes a salary paid.
Not sometimes, every month.
Yeah, a salary paid.
Is that still the case though?
Yes.
No.
So in places, in instances, there's been a little bit of dwindle at some times, but in all, it's all come all the way back, even to the point of saying, look, you guys are already trained. Right after school, you automatically all have jobs to join if you want to.
You want to join as other ranks?
Yes.
Okay.
As non-commissioned officers.
Non-commissioned officers. Okay, sorry. Okay, so another question I'm going to try at you. Let me take the lady first. What's your favorite activity in school?
Social nights.
Okay.
Social
That's
nights.
1 point. So social night is social night, regardless of the fact that it's not a regular secondary school. It still has social nights.
Where we got to watch fashion parade and we're feeling ourselves, even with the short hair and everything. Those were the best nights for me, because like they just relaxed you from all the daily pressure you get waking up one activity or the other. It's either parade or drill or social nights were the best.
Okay, and what days were the social nights held?
They were always Saturday nights. Saturday nights, yes.
Just wanted to say, yeah, Saturday night, yes. I think just for record purpose, I belong to an entertainment group in school, but that's another story. I'm sure Senior B, you remember, but we're not going to talk about it today. Okay, so any other one that pops up? Any other activity that you liked?
Sports, because I used to participate in sports. Yes, I used to run races. Obviously not anymore, but yes, I used to run races until
you did it.
Say that again.
I said you used to run
until the physique and everything will not let you do that anymore. So yes, I used to like running races.
That wasn't while you were in the military school though, right? That was after.
It was.
Oh, it was?
It was.
For the physique?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay,
it
was your favorite activity in school?
Funny enough, actually, I was the social junior NCO, which means junior non-commissioned officer for my service.
Quick one. Did we have that? Did you have a position like that?
Yes, we did. We had the social prefect and then the junior. Yes, we did.
Sorry, I came back to you.
Socials was fun for me. Of course, I think my classmates still see me as a socials person, because
you asked me social. That wasn't your classmate. I see you as a social person.
Exactly.
It hasn't left me. But you see, that's the thing. You see, another thing that basically people never realize is that when I said they were building us, they built us complete. So even to the point of using how to use your cutleries to eat in the dining hall.
Oh, say that again. Say that again.
Yes.
So everything, the dance, the dinners, I don't know if you did this, but we actually had dinner nights where we would dress up in our tunic right?
Mm.
And go to the big hall, that hall that you saw. Basically, they have the tables lined up and we'll sit down and have dinner, fork and knife. And then, just, they trained us to be perfect gentlemen alongside the military training. So it was balanced. Now, of course, for the person who, once you get into AFMS, Air Force Military School, your time is no longer yours. You are timed when you can only sleep when you're allowed to sleep. You go and study when you are supposed to study. You go and play sports when you're allowed to play sports, and none of these are optional. So the only time you had time for yourself was actually your sleeping time was not yours, because you should fall asleep at the time they ask you to fall asleep and wake up when they ask you to wake up to go and do physical training again.
2 nights, but that would be another story.
Whatever it is, actually. So the periods where we got to relax were just those little socials that we had in between. So those were always very calming. But then again, they programmed it in so that the tempo was not always high. So it's high and then they bring it low. And then just when you're relaxing, they take it up again, right? All part of life. And then you just realize that life is patterned exactly like that now.
Yes.
Right?
Really.
Our life is not like
so they trained us for face life.
They prepared us for it. So those periods of, and then of course the dining hall, the food, chicken on Sunday.
Chicken on Sunday.
That used to be
chicken
amazing.
On Sunday.
Yes, on Sundays we had fried chicken.
Yes, we did too. All forgettable. Okay, Senior B, just while we're still on the topic, your favorite activity in school, and you said it was the social night, did you actually participate in anything social while in school? Were you into like drama or anything?
A couple of times I tried to join the Yoruba cultural group.
Okay.
But I guess I wasn't flexible enough. So they always found a way of putting me out of the group. I tried that. Then at some point I also tried drama. That worked for me a couple of times, but that was about it. But I was like the hype person. I was always the hype person behind those doing fashion parade and all that. I mean, I wouldn't be in the forefront, but I was the hype person, yes.
Okay, thank you. Gake, were you involved in any particular social activity?
I was a social junior.
But were you carrying out like your own personal activities, like mining?
So no, I didn't do that. But actually, I organized. I still remember. I basically created a drama. It wasn't scripted, but then I got some guys I got some guys who basically played roles in it, and then invited the socials prefect of Federal Government College over, who came, and then we, basically did rolled out the show for him.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Yeah. Interestingly, a few of those guys that were in that drama, I remember 1 or 2 of them are 1-star generals in the Air Force.
Oh, wow. We should bring them on this show one of these days.
Yeah, if they will accept, or if they remember.
Okay. Thank you for that. Let's quickly go on a musical break. We'll be right back. Remember, viewers, you're watching Atijo, the program that takes us back in the days, the good old days of secondary school in Nigeria. Don't go nowhere. You're welcome back to Atijo, a good old days program. The program takes you back to good old days, and it takes us back in time to our secondary school days, and we're reliving our days, our moments, our experiences in the Air Force Military Schools in Jos. 3 of us are here today, actually attended the schools. We're ex-jam and ex-jor here. So, one way or the other, through the questions I've been throwing at them, they've been telling us what their experiences were like. And I'm going to just ask one more question now. And that will be, but before tell you, ask the question, I want you to get the idea of what I'm trying to ask you first. When you come to Lagos, when it hits you that in Lagos, if you're coming by road, it's when you see that this is Lagos. Or you see those, if you're coming by road through Ibadan, you see those three musketeers, and you're in Lagos. If you're coming through the airport, I don't know if it's still there, if that signage is still there. I said, this is Lagos. But they don't tell you, welcome to Lagos. It's always, this is Lagos. So, in the same way, at what time did it hit you? Did you have that? Did you become aware of the fact that, come on, I am in a military school? At what point in time? Ogaka, let's start with you.
All right. So, so this is really interesting because at the airport in Lagos, when I was going to resume this military school, which I was so excited about, I met somebody for the first time. His name, I can mention him. His name, he's now a naval 2-star general, Rear Admiral Bolaji Orederu, and his elder sister was the one taking him to Jos. So basically, my uncle and my dad decided there's no point, he'll just go, and Bolaji's elder sister will basically take both of us and get us to school. I was a very talkative person till date. And when I say till date, when I went to Nigeria, when I went to visit Nigeria a couple of months ago, I stayed with Bolaji and we did our morning walk and went all the way to our house, and she still remembered, oh, you are that, right? But I talked all through because I was just excited, right? I was speaking, when we got to the airport, there was a bus that was waiting for us, Air Force Military School. The people met us at the airport was so nice. We got on the bus, they were talking, we were talking. So we were still not realizing what we're getting into. When we got to the gate of the school, where we had to register as we're coming in, there was somebody called the Regimental Sergeant Major, RSM. He's the equivalent of what you call a soldier. He trains the soldiers to be soldiers. He himself is full of very high standards in terms of neatness. He's a trainer, right? And so he was there, and very sharp looking soldier, basically looking at us as we were registering. So there were some other kids who also came, and their parents were helping them carry their bags. And and then the guy was walking in front, and then the regimental sergeant major stood up and said, "Where do you think you are? Take that bag back to the car and run back here with it." So the parents were like, "Oh, okay, all right." And so
we can't help you at this point.
That's when I realized that, oh my goodness, what have I signed up for? It jolted me to reality that these people are not messing around. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. So all that smiling and feeling all free basically just came to like, all right, be careful right here. And from then on, I started to see more and more. So for example, when the seniors arrived, I didn't know it was a big deal, but they made it a big deal. So they just came. I still remember somebody coming to me and saying, "What's my name?" I said, "I don't know your name." "You don't know my name?" And he had a flashlight, and he was basically hitting my chest with it. "You don't know my name? You don't know my name? I don't know your name." And it was at that point in time I realized that, oh my goodness,
this is not business as usual.
This is not as much fun as I thought it was going to be.
It was going to be.
Yeah. At that point in time, my life started changing. So that's the key thing, actually.
Okay.
The other nice part is the fact that because we were actually an old airport, it was really amazing that in between our first 2 weeks, a Nigerian Air Force aircraft actually came and landed in school. Right, and then it landed, and then when the door opened, there were junior airmen that walked out of the plane. Apparently, they flew them from one of the bases. But it was just, to me, it kind of stayed with me to see junior airmen file out of a plane that landed in school with their forage caps, looking really sharp. So those two things changed my understanding of what I was into.
Your orientation just like reset.
Yep.
Okay. What was your own? What was your own?
Okay, so for me, when we arrived in Jos, I was part of the first set. So I think they consciously tried to make us feel comfortable. The then commandant she was very kind, very motherly, always made us feel comfortable. But I think in the same first week when the military training started, so it's not something I'm particularly proud of, but I happen to be like the first person that was asked to soak and roll. I,
Mhm.
I don't know. They were like, maybe they said we should stand at attention. And I was just akimbo, like, I'm tired, that kind of thing. And the man just picked me out. I don't even know how he picked me from the back. I said, come here, blah, blah, blah. And I was asked to, I was so miserable. Like, I was asked to soak and then roll on the field. That was when I knew that, okay, even with the crying and everything, nobody was like,
Yeah,
it
you
wasn't
don't
like
care.
anyone was saying sorry to me, or
Now.
more like they were yelling at me to hurry up.
Mhm.
So that was when I realized, okay, it's no longer business as
At
usual. So
all.
that was my very first experience. And
Okay.
obviously, subsequently, others followed, but that
Others
was
follow.
the,
You want to
the
tell us one
first and
more?
major one.
You want to tell us one more experience?
Describe soaking actually for the sake of those because people don't
Yeah,
know what soaking means. They just say
Soaking,
yeah,
soak.
okay.
that's the okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Really,
So
what's soaking and
soaking
rolling?
is depending on where it was in the school back then. So this particular incident I was talking about, I was they asked someone to fill a drum, and bring the water, but we had an overhead tank. So soaking basically is you go in your full gear, if you're in khaki with your beret, your boots, everything, your belt, like full gear, and you go stand there and you soak yourself. Like they just open the tap and the thing soaks you from the very crown of your
So
head
you're
to the sole of
drenched in
your feet.
water.
You're drenched in water. Then you will be asked to lie down. So this is the rolling part. You could be on the field, a sandy field, on grass if you're lucky, on gravel if you're unlucky, and you'll be asked to roll from one end to the other. Or it could be, yes. So that's basically what soaking and
Soaking and
rolling
rolling.
is. But
Mm.
so to give you another experience,
Mm.
it wasn't the first, but there was that also like made me realize that, look, this is no joke.
Mm.
I can't remember what happened. I think it was a group punishment or so, maybe it was for my guard or for my squadron or something, and we were asked to go get our two buckets
Mm.
and a spoon, and we placed the buckets at the extreme ends of the field, and one was filled with water, and this instructor asked us to fill the other bucket with the spoon. So we were meant to use the spoon
Mm.
to go to one end, just scoop some water in the spoon and go to the other end. Obviously,
Yeah,
no one could complete that. But I was
of
like,
course.
I was so miserable. I was like,
So one
ah,
punishment leads to another. If you don't finish that, another one gets to you.
exactly, exactly. So yes,
There was
Oh, thank you.
also there's another one that I actually remember that
Mm.
kind of always stayed. It's the fact that somebody in my team or in my
Mm.
squadron made a mistake, and all of us basically were punished for it.
Mhm.
Right? That still it didn't make sense then, but that was our story basically. Somebody will make a mistake, and all of us will pay for it.
yes.
So we all had to be perfect, or basically everybody paid for somebody's sins.
Um. So all of those experiences you guys had in school just really made it hit you that you had like this is a military school. Do you
Yep.
think okay, let me not ask this question at this point, but then what I want to know is I mean thinking back right now, looking back, would you have gone to another school other than the military school you attended?
For me, actually, I think the first term
Mm.
was my most difficult term. And when I was leaving first term, I didn't want to come back actually. But then I wore that uniform, and the way people respected me when I got on the train, and then I took that final walk to my house, and how everybody was looking at me like, oh my goodness. And then my dad took me to my elementary school, where the whole school basically was like, wow,
A
it's a
soldier.
soldier. And the headmistress was like, okay, march. So I marched, and then saluted, and then all that fun. And the fact that when I was now, when it was time to return, you wore the uniform again, and all your friends who you're playing soccer with, they'll look at you like, wow, that's what made me go back.
Superstar.
That's what made me go back. I just wanted to wear the uniform one more time.
One more time, and then you got hooked.
And then by the end of the first year, I was no longer the most junior. So now I had other people who I was senior to. And so
And that's a good feeling.
Easier.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
Life gets easier as you become a senior. So, so like I said, the first term was my most difficult. After that,
but after that,
you start figuring out how to live, within.
Okay. Senior B, what about you? Would you? And I'm thinking back, if you had another opportunity at life, would you still go to the same school?
Yes, I would. Like I always say, going to or attending the Air Force Girls Military School was a very, very unique opportunity. You have very unique experiences that only a limited group of people would understand and relate to. But obviously, if I had an opportunity or I'm in a position to correct certain things or make certain suggestions, then obviously there will be quite a number of them. And I think what made me a little bit more comfortable was the fact that I didn't have any seniors. But even the instructors, some of the instructors we had, the experiences with some of them was even worse than having seniors. But hey, that was supposed to be part of the whole experience. But other than that, I wouldn't have chosen. I mean, like, if I had an opportunity to do it again, yes, I would.
Yeah, you just make some slight changes, maybe if you were in a position to.
Yes, if I'm in a position to make changes, yes, I'll just make a few changes. Because now that you're an adult, you appreciate that some of those things have affected you negatively. But having said that, for the most part, it's been positive. And you just need to.
Thank you for that. So I think on this, at this point, we've got to round up today's episode of the program, but we're going to be back again because there's still much, we've not even scratched the surface concerning experiences in military school. So I think we're going to come back again very, very soon. I'm going to bring us all back again for this. But for this week's episode, we've got to stop here. If not, this will go on forever. So until next time, before I say my goodbyes, let me throw it out to the lady first.
Okay. As always, it's always a pleasure being here, hanging out with you guys and talking about, those days and all of the experiences. It's always nice being here. And so we're signing out. Hope to see you again next week. And my NAF number, as always, is 87/0060. Take care.
Okay. Thank you. Oga Kaide.
All right, I'm 82/248, ex-junior airman Kayode Atobatele. Was always a fun conversation. So thank you. See you again soon.
And from my side, Nana Shehu, 88/0182. I'll be with you again next week. Hopefully, stay blessed. Remember, you watch the program Atijo, the program takes you back in the days. Stay blessed.